Hey everybody, I'm here today to give you 5 quick tips for passing your driving test on the first time. These 5 tips are really easy to use and they will help you pass your driving test on your first try. If you want to see more great car videos, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Now let's get right into the video. Tip number 1, be nice to the examiner. Your driving examiner is a human being. They're not robots. So with that being said, they have actual feelings. And if you're nice to the examiner, it's actually going to give you a better chance at passing. Because if you do something on the driving test and the examiner's sort of on the fence about whether or not that is a passing thing or a thing that will make you fail, then guess what? If you're nice to that examiner, they'll probably be more likely to lean towards passing you as opposed to failing you. So tip number 1, be nice to your driving examiner and treat them with respect. Tip number 2, practice. Practicing your driving skills is one of the best things that you can do for improving your chances at passing your driving test on the first time. Practice each individual driving skill and also practice driving as a whole. So I'm telling you to practice every single driving skill that you might need for your driving test. Parking, reversing, turning right, turning left, maintaining a speed on a main road, driving on a one-way street. If it can be on the test, practice it, and that will give you the best chance at passing the test on the first try. You literally cannot practice enough for your driving test, okay? Tip number 3, study. Now, it's not only about practicing driving, but it's about studying the driving knowledge. So that means that you want to study all of the road signs, study what to do in an emergency situation, study the various controls of the car, study the potential situations that you might be in for the driving test, study tips for driving, just like you're doing right now. Study driving test tips, once again, just like you're doing right now. Study. That's tip number 3. Tip number 4 is be well rested. I know that you might be studying the night before your driving test and you might be tempted to stay up super late looking over information and practicing your driving skills. Now, contrary to popular belief, that's not a great idea. If you want to pass your driving test on the first time, it would be very beneficial for your brain to be functioning at 100% effectiveness. And guess what? If you want your brain to be functioning absolutely amazingly in extraordinary fashion, then you need to get a good night's sleep. So make sure you're getting at least 8 hours of solid sleep. And that means that if it takes you a while to fall asleep, and if you have moments of restlessness throughout your sleep, you should go to bed 9 hours before you have to wake up to ensure that you get 8 hours of solid sleep. So tip number 4 is be well rested. It will benefit you more than you can imagine. Last but not least, tip number 5 for passing your driving test on your first try is to know your vehicle. Now, so many people underestimate this tip. They think that knowing how to drive is enough to pass the test. Now, guess what? If you're driving on your driving test and your front windshield begins to fog up, you need to know where the defogger is pretty much without looking down. You need to know where it's at so you can press it while still paying attention to the road. And your driving examiner will likely be paying attention to where you're looking as well and how well you know the controls. If your vehicle has 4-wheel drive, you need to know how to activate it. You should know how to activate it in case you need to use it for your driving test. If you're driving a manual vehicle, you should know where the biting point is of the clutch so that you can drive much smoother, shift much smoother, start in gear much smoother, control your car on hills much smoother. With that being said, knowing your vehicle with regards to how it responds is also important. When you turn the steering wheel, you should know how your vehicle is going to respond. You don't want the driving instructor to be thrown around. When you press the gas pedal, you should know how your vehicle is going to respond, because you don't want to press the gas pedal and then your driving examiner has their head thrown towards the back of the seat because the acceleration is beyond what you wanted it to be. So with all of that being said, knowing your vehicle is tip number 5, and it's of absolute importance, and it's so underestimated. And that's basically it. In this video, I've gone over 5 simple easy to use tips that will help you pass your driving test on the first time. If you use these tips effectively, they will give you a better chance at passing your driving test and getting your license on your first try. If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Let me know what you think down below as a comment. Let me know what are your tips for passing your driving test. And of course, be sure to subscribe for more great car and driving videos just like this one. And that's all I have for you today. Thanks for watching.